Assistant AG Katzik and Assistant Secretary Johnson. In August of 2014, I wrote to the Attorney General and the Secretary of Homeland Security, the head of your respective agencies, expressing serious concerns about reported alterations made to prosecutorial guidelines for Operation Streamline and requesting information about this decision from your respective agencies. 9 days earlier, I received a letter from one of my local county sheriffs expressly significantly finding concerns that Operation Streamline was being terminated and that the U.S. Attorney's Office will no longer be prosecuting first-time undocumented illegal immigrants under the program. In the letter, Sheriff Wilmot stated, and I quote, "This new guidance is of great concern because it undermines the mission of local law enforcement agencies throughout Yuma County for 100% prosecution of those entering the United States illegally in order to curb reentries," end of quote. Sheriff Wilmot also stated in his letter, and I quote, "During an interview of a defendant from a recent smuggling case, the subject told investigators that since he had been in jail, they and their other partners are moving to other areas due to our hard stance on smuggling and the fact that if you are caught in Yuma, you will go to jail," end of quote. The Federal Government's failure to address our immigration crisis and forcing cities in my district, such as Yuma, to step up and prevent the massive flow of illegal aliens entering the country. In 2005, a combination of fencing, new infrastructure, no-tolerance zones, and increased manpower drove down the number of apprehensions in the Yuma region by nearly 95%, from 119,000 in 2006 to just over 6,000 in 2013. Despite this remarkable success, you all defied all logic and common sense by unilaterally crippling law enforcement and terminating Operation Streamline, as well as other worthwhile border enforcement programs. On October 10th, DOJ replied to my letter from August 28th about Operation Streamline being terminated. While I appreciate the relatively prompt response within the 2-month time frame, frankly, I'm shocked it even took that long, considering it essentially resembled a simple copy, cut, and paste with such generic and blatantly evasive language that in no real terms could be considered an actual response. Rather than answering my question or providing any reasoning as to why Operation Streamline had been terminated, the Department of Justice responded with a weak letter. I'll hold up this letter here. That stated, and I quote, "It is the Department's longstanding practice not to provide specific information regarding criminal law enforcement policies of the United States Attorney's Office," end of quote. That's just simply outrageous. Now, I will humbly tell you, I don't think I'm really anybody special. I'm just a dentist impersonating a politician. I don't expect any special treatment from anybody, but I was elected in accordance to the Constitution of the United States to serve as representative of the people of the 4th Congressional District of Arizona, which carries important duties and obligations, including government oversight. Mr. Chairman, before I ask some questions, I'd like to have these 3 letters entered into the record.
Without objection, so ordered.
So with that, Mr. Kadzik and Ms. Johnson, since you're both here, I will ask you all one more time. Which one of your agencies made the call to terminate Operation Streamline, and why the secrecy? Mr. Kadzik first.
Congressman, within the last 2 months, we conducted a briefing with respect to the status of immigration enforcement in the Yuma District. I apologize if your staff was not invited to that briefing, but I would be happy to have that briefing provided to members of your staff to give you the current status of immigration enforcement.
I'm not specifically asking you that, sir. I asked you a specific question. Who, is it your agency, who in your agency or Ms. Johnson's agency decided to terminate Operation Streamline? Point, simple, one way or another.
I can't tell you that it's been terminated. And so
it absolutely has.
Well, I would say that, as the letter indicates, the local United States attorneys implement prosecution policies.
No, those come from the DOJ directly. I'm sorry, sir. Those directives came from, so I'm asking you this question. If you don't know the answer, simply state the answer, that you don't know. But
I can't say I don't know because I don't believe that it was terminated.
It has been terminated. Well, you don't know the answer. Ms. Johnson, how about you?
Congressman, I have to defer to Department of Justice. Operation Streamline is not a Department of Homeland Security operation, and so I don't have competence to speak to that.
So let's go back to you, Mr. Kadzik. Is the standard practice of the Department of Justice to disregard requests for information from individual members of the United States Congress?
No, it is not.
Ms. Johnson, does the Department of Homeland Security similarly shrug off information requests of individual members of Congress who are performing their oversight duties?
No, Congressman, we do not shrug off requests that we receive. As a matter of fact, we try to produce the documents that are being requested.
Does it make a difference if it's more than one, maybe 30 or 40 members writing a letter? Does it get quicker attention if it's got 30 or 40?
No, Congressman, that's not the way we prioritize. But we do have to prioritize when you're subject to the jurisdiction of 92 committees and subcommittees. You have to prioritize where you're going to put your efforts at any given time. So we prioritize the request. We task them out to the appropriate components to search for the documents.
Well, as a doctor, it seems to me your problem has been misdiagnosed. If you can't keep up with Congress, and understand that Congress isn't your ordinary third party, if you can't keep up with the document requests, maybe you should reevaluate your conduct. Quit reinterpreting, abusing, and remaking the laws. Follow the law. I yield back.
Thank the gentleman.